Welcome back to episode 10 of the Future Self podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube, I fucking appreciate you. If you're tuning in on Spotify, I appreciate you just as much. Following pattern from episode 9, we're going to be running a few shorter episodes leading into season 2, which I have a big plan for season 2. It's going to be a little bit different to this season. It's going to be fucking sick, but I'll just wait till then and I will let you guys find out. Now, I'm sure by having read the title, you know what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to be talking about stepping stones and their importance. Stepping stones for some people will be a brand new concept. Stepping stones for others will be something that they know but didn't know it was an actual thing. And then for some, it's what they actually consciously choose to do. Stepping stones is what I use and essentially have molded my coaching company to work from. A stepping stone is the act of doing micro compounding differences, stepping from stone to stone to stone. A lot of the time when people start something new, they're stepping into a new journey, they're progressing things, they're leveling up. It's 0 to 100. It is so rapid. It is so intense. People go from having fuck all boundaries and systems to then all of a sudden throwing out every bit of food in their fridge, in their cupboard, only getting chicken, rice, veggies, running every day, going to the gym all of a sudden. They jump into the thick of it. And it's not really a news flash, but that just doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. And if it does work, it is so rare. It is so rare to see someone do something completely new from a 0% to a 100% and have great success in it. You weren't doing it before for a reason. So you can't just all of a sudden switch into it. You can't just flick that light switch and jump into it at 100% capacity. Some people are very adaptive. Some people are motivated enough to rely purely on motivation. It does happen and it can happen, but it's more rare to happen than for what it is to not happen. That idea is so common, 0 to 100, jumping straight into it because we're motivated. We want rapid change. You want to get straight into it, maximize it 100%, see the result, but it just doesn't fucking work. Like I said before, there is a reason you weren't doing it before, so there's going to be reasons why it won't work now. You had solid reasons as to why you weren't doing X and Y. To think that you're going to upkeep it, it's fucking wild. It is wild to think that. A stepping stone is an approach and an understanding for your future self by compounding small, consistent efforts and acts. Someone who goes from 0 to 30% and then back down to 0, the average is shit. Someone who does 1% more each day, it's going to take some time to get to 30%. But if you're only changing 1%, that means you're only going to drop back 1%. So you take 5 steps forwards, 1 back, you're still at 4%. You're not rapidly jumping forwards and rapidly jumping back. Stepping stones are the literal backbone of GL coaching. It is literally the front centerpiece of how I approach every journey. 9 times out of 10, the people I work with on a one-to-one have the capacity and the capability to go from 0 to a big jump, but not long term. You can go from no gym sessions to 4 in a week, but you might only upkeep that for a few weeks. If you go the approach of doing 1 session and you really want to do 2, as a coach, I usually hold that back. I make sure that 1 going to 2 is really wanted. Then they go from 1 to 2 and then they want to get to 3, but I hold that back. Rather than allowing it, I hold it back. I make sure that that 2 is set in stone, and then we go to the stepping stone of 3. A lot of the time people do things rapidly and add in new factors, and as fast as they're added in will be the speed that they can be deducted or not continued. If you change 5 things in a week, there's a high likelihood that you can drop those 5 things by the end of the week. If you add one thing and you do that consistently for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, you're more than likely to fucking continue doing that. So then you add in the next thing. Now you're doing 2 things. Another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's continued. Then you do the third thing. There's always this really high pressure and expectation that you have to jump straight into it. Everyone else is doing 5 sessions. I need to do 5. No, just stick with the 2 or 3. Everyone else is going for walks every day. I need to go for a walk 7 days of the week. No, just stick with 2 or 3. Those who can stick with compounding consistency will always see a better change, a bigger result, and a higher chance of long-term continuance than those who just rapidly jump into doing as much as they can. You might be able to handle it for some time, but sometimes not forever. There's going to be a point in time that you register, holy fuck, that was a big change. I can't upkeep that. So when it comes to coaching, when I work with those one-to-one, there's so many factors I program and give guidance for, but I don't all do that on week 1. I don't give it all out on the first week. I'll start with one area, we'll solidify it for a few weeks, then you jump into the next. You solidify it for a few weeks, then you jump into the next. You're taking these stepping stones of progression. If person A and person B normally do 5,000 steps on average a day, person A goes from 5,000, I'm motivated, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to do it, straight to 10,000. If they keep that up for a few weeks, they're going to see a fast change. But that few weeks isn't forever. If they keep that up for a few weeks and then drop off because it's unrealistic, it's too hard, they'll essentially go back to the 5,000. Person B, who might see a slower result and a smaller return, initially from a surface level might feel like they're doing shitter. They might feel like they're not doing as good, that they're not killing it, that the other person's doing so much better. But if you go from 5,000 to 5.5 to then 6 to then 6.5, a few weeks down the line, you're doing 11,000. But because you've allowed for the micro adjustment, it's not overwhelming. You've allowed yourself to adjust, to adapt to it, to slowly build up the lifestyle that's needed for it. So then you're continuing it. So the person who saw the big change from going from 5,000 to 10, they killed it for a little bit. Now they're back to where they started. Person B started off slower, saw a smaller result initially. They're now fucking killing it. 6 months down the line, they're still doing it. They're still elevated from where they started. They're seeing more change. However, it is so fucking hard for someone who is starting something new to choose to be person B. It's so hard. No one wants to do the slow route. No one wants to see the slower and lesser returns. Everyone wants it quick and now. But it doesn't fucking work that way. Or it works that way, but you bet your ass it's not going to work that way forever. It is going to take longer than 0 to 100 to see your long-term change. Change is the result of difference compounded over time. Change is not intensity. Intensity gives a stimulus to react to. There can be rapid change in that. But like I said before, the faster something comes, the faster it can go. There is literally a reason it's called a long-term journey. It is for your future self. It is for the you down the line. You're doing things for that individual. You see it every day. People who rush things normally see a worse outcome than people who take it slow. That's why challengers see so much rapid change but it doesn't fucking last. People lose insane kilos. They build insane amounts of muscle. I'm not dissing those people. They bust their ass. They're working so hard for it, but they've been misguided. They've been misled that you can get a rapid change and it be sustained. It fucking can't, and it won't. Or if it does, goddamn, you're lucky because it's so rare. 15 kilos in 12 weeks, that sounds insane. Holy fuck, I want that myself. But yo, 15 kilos in 12 weeks, you must have been doing some pretty fucking high output things to have that rapid change. So you bet once the challenge stops, you're probably going to slowly trickle back to where you started, because consistency, non-negotiables, foundations, none of that shit's applied. It's just do this as hard as you can. Bang, here's your result. Fuck yeah. Oh shit, 6 months later, I'm back to where I started. Versus those who I see step into a journey on their own. They're able to do those things on their own, or they step into a journey with a coach. They do coaching, nutrition coaching, lifestyle coaching, full coaching. If they're a good coach, they won't care about getting a rapid, fast result to promo. They will care about the long-term success of you as a person. I remember when I first stepped into coaching, I called myself the results-based coach because I was getting insane results. However, who's to say that 15 kilos in 12 weeks is better than 15 kilos in a year? Because that person who's taken the year to do it has changed their lifestyle to allow for that. I work with so many people, but there's this specific mother I work with who had friends surrounding her saying, take this weight loss pill, do this challenge, do this, you'll see the fast result. She said, fuck that. She wanted to make a change for herself. We started coaching together and it was a slow process. It was a process full of many, many stepping stones. It's taken time for her to see the change on her body, but she's gone from being a stay-at-home mum and that's it, into someone who looks after herself, respects herself, loves herself, walks every day, makes the time, prepares her food. Those things don't come quick. So if she had fallen into the trap of rapid weight loss, she wouldn't be where she is now. Yes, it's taken X amount of time to lose X amount of kilos. On paper, you might not go, wow, that's insane. 10 kilos in a year. In my eyes, it's fucking amazing because the changes this individual has done, I can't even express it. It's gone from 0 to 100, but by percentages over time, rather than 0 to 100 in a single choice. Stepping stones don't just apply to weight loss and fitness. It applies to anything. If you do things slowly, for most things, it's going to have a better outcome. It's going to have a longer term ability to stay around. You're more than likely going to be able to keep it up and have it be sustainable. If you rush into anything, want the result now, even if it seems like it's looking after the future you, I disagree with that. You're being selfish. You're either being selfish or you lack the knowledge and understanding, which is okay. The fitness industry, fitness, health, progress, it is so misunderstood. People just don't have the education and knowledge around it like you'd expect. It is literally the front-running factor of what keeps us alive. But people just don't know things. The misconception that weight loss comes from cardio and eating less, it's just not it. People who say weight loss comes from a calorie deficit without any elevating information behind it to educate the individual on what that means can get fucked. If someone's eating 800 calories and they're reading or listening to something that says calorie deficit loses weight and they're now on 400 calories, the info they've read is fucking ridiculous. A calorie deficit is how you lose weight. You need to be in a negative bias. But people don't understand that, You might need to spend 4 months building your calories up, building up your movement, and allowing that to create a deficit. Someone who's eating 800 calories, if they drop to 400, they're going to fuck things up big time. They're probably going to store more fat because your body is going to be so stressed and primarily scared, you're going to be storing. Fight or flight, consistent lack of energy intake, your body will be in such a heightened position. However, through my approach with most people, I'm not saying everyone, so don't at me in the comments because I'm not making a claim. I'm sharing information from what I've done with people. If you slowly build that 800 upwards and elevate your movement with that, you could become a more energized individual, less stressed, less fight or flight consistency. You'll want to move more. You'll want to be more active. That then can allow you to lose weight. I see it all the time. 1,200 calories, cardio sessions, I'm putting on fat. Why isn't this working? It's not working because it's a selfish act of wanting it now. Look after your body, look after yourself, fuel your body, increase your movement. Things change that way. People get so shocked when I tell them half of my weight loss journeys are from increasing cows. Now, it doesn't always work that way. I've gone into big deficits of 500 to 1,000 calories with males and females. That is situational to people. That can be the route needing to be taken. But most of the time, eating more and moving more tends to see a progressive change. However, today's episode isn't about body fat and losing that way. It's about stepping stones. And the link to the stepping stone is not wanting the rapid change now. It is not being so fucking selfish that you make these quick decisions and choices that you feel like will give you a result that then just don't come around. There's a reason really rich individuals have stood up and fallen down more times than you've even tried. There's a reason that really successful business owners have opened and closed multiple businesses, or they've progressed and regressed, because good things take time, and time is stepping stones, compounding, and consistency. I'm sure you know it, whether it's your own self tuning in, a friend, a family member, or someone you've seen around you. You see them wanting to make a change and they've just gone about it the wrong way. They've gone 0 to 100, they're killing it for a bit, but it just doesn't last. I literally changed my coaching from 12 weeks of focusing on a result to now a minimum of 18 weeks focusing on you, your lifestyle, and progressing things. I used to be a selfish coach unconsciously. It was never the thing I wanted to do, and it was never the reason for why I would do things. I wanted someone to see a quick result. A quick and fast result, it's not beneficial for someone. A slower long-term result is going to be. If someone loses 5 kilos and they put that 5 kilos back on, what the fuck? But if someone loses 3 kilos and then another kilo a month later and then another kilo and they continue it, fuck yes. That's going to be so much better down the line. It's a really hard thing to choose stepping stones and to choose the slower approach. Normally, if you're deciding to progress something for the future you're at the end of the line. You're at your maximum peak of what you can take. You want the change now. I get that. I understand it, and I want that change for you. But trust me and trust yourself. Take it slow. Focus on the future you long term, not the current you. I get you're wanting to make change, but you got yourself into that position. Don't be so selfish that you just make a quick change for the current you now. You need to have the ownership of where you got to. And then once you have the ownership, you need to make small decisions and choices. The most successful people I know have complete systems of routine, boundaries, non-negotiables. People who are seeing quick change, they don't have those. So they're acting out of wanting quick change, and it's successful at the time, but it won't work long term. So linking back around to what I was saying at the start, the way I do things personally myself and with coaching and that dynamic is when someone's ready for it, you don't just have to necessarily give it. You can allow it to be restricted, 100% set in stone, and then enhanced. Yes, 10,000 steps might have you seen an insane result, but if that level of intensity stresses you out, you become overrun, overwhelmed, and then you get sick, then you're sick for 2 weeks. On average, it would have been better to just do 7.5 for the full 6 weeks instead of just the 4. Doing a little less for a while bit longer is always going to be better than doing more for a shorter period of time. If you're someone who wants to train 4 sessions, but you know you can't recover quick enough, there's no point training 4 sessions for 6 months and really injuring yourself and being out for 3 months. You would have been better to just train 3 sessions, but do that for the full year injury free. See the kind of pattern and dynamic I'm getting at? It's not being lazy. It's not giving yourself permission to do the lesser amount because it'll work better in the long term. It's being long-term realistic. It's doing the slightly less amount because you can do it longer rather than the high intensity for a shorter period of time. If you eat 2,000 calories over a period of time, let's say, to keep it simple, let's say 5 days, compared to eating 1,500 for 5 days, and then on the 6th day, because you're so starving, you then binge all day on the 6th day and end up blowing over by 1,000. It would have been better to just stay at the 2. Yes, the 1,500 might see a faster result, but if you can stay at the 2 for 5 days, then 7, then 8, then 9, consistency. See the pattern? It's consistency being compounded. A stepping stone is one stone with another one slightly in front of it. It's not one and then one where you have to jump onto the next one. It's not one and then you have to dive to the next one. It is one stone with another one a centimeter in front of it and another one a centimeter in front of it. The smaller the changes, the potentially longer it will last. You could do those changes quicker, but in micro doses. Do them in micro differences. Because if 1 week you feel off, you're sick, you're injured, you will fall back to the change of before. But because the difference isn't too rapid, it's not going to be a rapid decline or change. Stepping stones are literally the building blocks of successful, progressive, bettering people, humans, things. It is what I use every single day with every single thing I do. It's so easy to jump into the wanting it now, the 0 to 100. You can upkeep it. That's fine. Go for it. Do it. Do it for a month or 6 months. Re-listen to this podcast. Understand why I'm saying what I'm saying, and then start your stepping stones. I'm not going to create a full episode chatting to people to withhold people's progression for no fucking reason. If I didn't truly trust and believe in the stepping stone approach 100%, I wouldn't have done this episode. But it is the backbone of every journey I work with, and I've seen some fucking successful, incredible, and amazing progressive journeys that I've been a part of and that I've seen people do. Small changes, consistency, compounding, micro differences, doing just a little bit more, changing it every now and then. That's what sees long-term change, because you fall back to your systems, your habits, you fall back to what's comfortable. Things can be really uncomfortable at the start, but if you make small changes, you adapt really quick. If you're making rapid big changes, you might not adapt to it. So you're just bullshitting this routine that you can't upkeep. Stepping stones is literally where it's at. And if you don't believe me, Chat to someone who's done a challenge. See if they've progressed and then regressed. Ask them why. Because they've gone from 2,000 steps to 15,000 to 6 weight sessions. They've killed it. They've busted their ass. I fucking respect those people's work ethics, but they've just been misguided with how to go about it. Episode 10 is one I hold really close because it's something I live by myself. I've stepping stoned everything successful in my life, from my business to my relationships, to my trust, to my self-love, my training, my financials. Everything has been stepping stoned, micro changes, compounded consistently. If you tuned in and you watched this, fucking thank you and I love you. If you're listening to this on Spotify in one big go, here or there, while you're training, walking, driving, I fucking appreciate you too. The next episode you hear will be in season 2 because this is the season 1 finish. In season 2, we're stepping into something a little bit different. I appreciate everyone who was there from the first episode to everyone that I've picked up along the way. You guys motivate me to do so much, and I hope I can motivate you to do something different. Either way, keep doing it for the future you, and don't be selfish and only do things for the current you. There are 3 versions: past, current, and future. Look after all versions, and you'll be one successful motherfucker.